Happy Monday. Al Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. Had an interesting conversation with my husband this morning, and it reminded me of how much we live in a two-dimensional world, especially during the pandemic, where we're on screens a lot, and how different that is from the three-dimensional world. Years ago, decades ago, I was the marketing director of a symphony, and I was at the airport to pick up a soloist. I had been working with her press photos for, well, over a year. And so I knew what she looked like. And I'm in the airport waiting and looking. And I just don't see her arrive. And finally, pretty much everyone is cleared out of this one area right near the jetway. And I look and there's just a couple people left, and I'm like, "Are you?" And I say her name, right? And she goes, "Oh, are you?" And I'm like, "Yes." And here's what it was. Like I'd be working with her press photos, which are two-dimensional. It's a sheet of paper. It's a glossy, right? And in real life, three-dimensionally, her face was so much thinner and longer that I actually couldn't recognize her. I didn't recognize her, even though I'd been spending so much time with her image. And so my husband and I were talking about like three-dimensional versus or two-dimensional screens, being on screens versus being in real life where you can touch and feel and and smell and like you know you're around the person. And so let's get into that a little bit. Like how much time are we spending on screens? How much time are we spending doing things in real life? I belong to a networking group, and IRL in real life. I guess that's a thing. Maybe you know that too. I'm just becoming aware of that acronym in real life. Events are something that this organization does around the country because the members are all over the country. Which gets back to if you think back a couple generations, like I think about my grandmother in New Hampshire, all but one of her children, of her four children, only one lived far away. Everybody else, two of them actually purchased land right on the estate. Like they had two homes. So they're my cousins were with my grandmother a lot. We lived about an hour away. We frequently saw her too. And so there was much more of an intergenerational experience and in real life closeness. My husband was doing some research, and he said that when radio came into being, that it really frightened a lot of people because no one had had a what he called a disembodied voice coming out of a box. Ever, they'd never experienced that. All voices came out of a real human or an animal making a sound, you know, like real life. And now we've come so far, you know, with screens that it's incredible. There's just screens everywhere. There didn't used to be screens everywhere. There didn't used to be screens in waiting rooms or, you know, or in restaurants. There's so many screens today. So thinking about that in terms of pressure free, one of the things you can ask is is it serving you? Is the screen serving you? Is what you're watching, what you're consuming? And it's not just screens, it could be what you're reading, a book. Sometimes I think people make a lot of comments about the internet or scrolling and everything, but we've always done that, you know, we've done it with books, we've done it reading a paper, we've just kind of transferred it all to more screen-based experience. But you can ask yourself, in fact, one of the tools in Pressure Free is asking yourself, does this serve me? Does this serve my soul? So you're talking about third dimension, three dimensions. You go into the fourth dimension of you know, our energetic field in our soul. So I will ask that question. I'm watching something right now that's kind of dark, but I'm watching it on purpose because I want to see how it resolves and it interests me. Um, and so but I have asked myself after one of the episodes, I was like, this is not serving me. It's not serving my soul. But then I got a little more clinical about it, and I said, I really want to see how this resolves. For one thing, it kind of moves into some of the work that I do, and also um, it is I'm a storyteller, so I actually write some fiction. I'm working on some screenplays, and so I want to see how they resolve this. So asking yourself that question, does this serve me? You can do it with activities as well. You can do it with how you're thinking. So I've talked about that quite a bit over the past month, is this idea of discerning the thought. Is it serving you toward what you want, or is it taking you down? Is it taking you out? So that discernment, I think, is really, really important. Um, because we'll spend so much of our brain energy on things that aren't particularly good for us or serving us. And I think, you can ask that question, does it serve you to do something on a screen? I do almost all of my coaching on a screen. I do my speaking live, but I've actually done trainings with up to 600 people on screen here. Um, but so most of my work is on screen, but I do things in real life too. On screen, here's something that's kind of interesting, and I never would have thought about it, but it was a client who brought it up to me. Sometimes I will have my client, I'll pause and say, okay, I want you to take a look at your face. Take a look at your face right now because your face is revealing how you think about this topic or this situation. The face may be really tight or, jaws tensioning, the shoulders go up. Like, take a look at yourself because we don't really look at ourselves when we're in real life. We're looking out at everything else. And so taking a moment to actually see how a topic affects a person, that's really profound. So one of my clients said, "Al, I love that even though I'm local to you, you do your coaching on screen because I had no idea that I made all these faces and that my shoulders went up and like all the things that happen when we start getting into some of the triggers and things that are upsetting us. So we get to see it. We get to see it in real time on a screen. So that's one of the reasons why I really love coaching on a screen. Plus, I have clients, I've coached people all over the world. I've got people on the West Coast. So that's why I have like evening times open. I had a person not book an evening time says, "Oh, that's so late for you." I'm like, "Yeah, but I coach people on the West Coast." So I'm happy to coach at night. I'm happy to coach early in the morning. I had a client who was in a different time zone and needed something before a big meeting. And we got up at 4 a.m. I got up at 4 a.m. and coached them so that they could have what they needed that day. So for me, time has become so much less of a constriction. Um, and whereas before that, it would have been definitely more of a constriction for me. So that pressure free has actually opened up time for me to not be so rigid and structured about things and to be much more fluid. That serves me. That serves my clients. That actually serves my soul to help someone in the heat of the moment, to help someone when they really need it. Someone just reached out to me this morning whom I had assisted 10 years ago with tightness in the body and just reached out and said they have something going on and could I meet with them? So let's get back to two-dimensional, three-dimensional, and this idea of what serves you. Again, just come back to that question. Does this serve me? Does this serve my soul? Do I need to get out more? Do I need to interact with people more, like in-person people? It's it's and I think here's the thing, like being on screen, things on screen, um it's cleaner. It's less messy. In person is messy. It's so much it's more like all the stuff that are humans, you know. So that might be something you're avoiding. And especially if you've been glued to a screen for a while, it's like really a challenge sometimes to get out there to be out in the real world. So in real life, just play around with it, see if you need to do it a little bit more. Ask the question, does this serve me? Or do you need to maybe do something differently? Um, I asked that question once when I started watching a movie and it wasn't helpful to me. So I clicked it off, went outside and worked in my garden for 2 hours. Now that really served my soul. So you can ask yourself, what serves me? What serves my soul? What serves my family? What serves my business if you're a business owner? What serves my workflow in a beautiful way? And then just kind of check that. Am I doing things two-dimensionally on screens, or am I in real life and experiencing the fleshiness and the realness of other humans and animals and nature? As many of you know, I go out in the forest almost every day. That's been a little challenging with the smoke in the air right now. And with that in mind, I just really have my heart goes out to all that have been displaced in Canada, Minnesota. Like, there's just so much going on up there. One lake where my husband has spent time, Lake Nipigon, it's just unbelievable what's happening, but that's a part of the forest renewal too. So yeah, it's just interesting what we have to deal with. And then just asking yourself that question, how can I stay pressure free? Whether it's smoke or difficulty at work or difficulty at home, like how can you stay pressure free? Asking that empowering question is so helpful. And again, it comes back to like deep self-worth, that you are worth being healthy. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I wish you a great pressure free day. Bye.